All right, welcome to this edition of It's Brewing at McEwen, a USF Baseball podcast. We are joined today by the head coach of USF Baseball, Billy Mohl. Always a pleasure to have him on the show. He has been the head coach at USF since the 2017 season, and he was even the pitching coach at USF before that. The 2024 season that we're in right now is about a quarter of the way through. The Bulls are sitting at a 9-6 record, and they are about to play four home games this week. Tomorrow against University of Maine, and the weekend series will be against UNC Greensboro. So a lot of good opportunities for fans to come out and support the team. Yeah, Coach Mohl, I just wanted to kick it over to you, see how you're doing, and how are you feeling about your season so far?
I mean, 9-6. Like I feel like we should be maybe 12-3. Just waiting for the consistency piece to kick in. I've seen good things on all sides of the ball. It just we really haven't seen a game yet where we've put all three phases of the game together.
I can definitely see that. And that kind of makes me want to ask, what is one thing that you've seen from your team? If you want to break it into offense and pitching, what is the one thing for each of those categories that you've seen that you're very proud of? Maybe it was a point of emphasis in the offseason, and you're like, hey, this is actually working.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the last 10 days you've seen you've seen a little bit of flash of everything. Like you saw us go against UCF and you saw pitchers who could really command the strike zone and really get after it and hold a good offensive club down. And on the flip side, offensively, you saw a team that has historically gone to North Florida and not had great results go in and finally break down that barrier and put up, a bunch of runs with your back against the wall, and then continue that the following day when we go to Jacksonville, where it's a midweek baseball game. You got to score runs. So the fight in our offense was great. Um, so it's been a mixed bag. Like you just want to see it all put together. I think, that's what I'm excited to see is once we put it together, can we get on a roll?
Definitely. Yeah, I could totally see what you mean. Um, Again, seeing some good moments and like I said, some inconsistencies. But what are some specific things maybe that you're kind of pointing at with that you're maybe it's a point of emphasis for this week in practice, whether that be with your pitchers or your hitters, anything specific?
We need to pitch. I mean, last weekend our starters did not do what they're supposed to do. I thought Hunter Mink battled and got through five. I thought that was a struggle to get through five, but we need our starters to set the tone. We need them to give us 5, 6 innings every single time, and use pitchability. I know some guys have gained a little velocity, but at the end of the day, we got to be able to pitch and get guys out. And then from an offensive standpoint, we've done a good job of scoring big runs and having big innings. We still are not at the level of execution I'd like to see with the bunt game, the hit and run game. I think we've done a good job, stealing some bases, creating some runs, but uh, when the rubber meets the road and you start playing top 25 teams, you got to be able to click in all those phases.
Definitely. I wanted to ask you too, this past weekend, yes, we had a pretty solid weekend, won the series. I saw the running game kind of slowed down a little bit, had a couple cost ceilings. Was the fact that the catcher from the other side's a pretty solid prospect kind of have an impact on that?
Yeah, that kid had a bazooka. It was
Definitely.
it was kudos to him. That's one of the best catch and throw guys I've seen in a long time at our level. I thought he did a really good job shutting down the running game.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Canyon Brown. He was a really looked impressive player uh, for NCA&T. But yeah, so that's kind of my first couple questions. Before we kick it over to Matt, I just wanted to say real quick for anybody listening, please be sure to follow our show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It'll allow the shows to automatically show up in your feed. If you feel like it, leave us a rating, 5 stars. We really appreciate it. But and I'll kick it to Matt.
Awesome. Thanks again, Coach Mohl, for joining us again. Really excited to have you on the show. And with that being said, the first thing I'm curious about is, we've seen a couple of injuries throughout the first part of the season with Bobby coming out of the game the other day, and Potentially, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Rafael Betancourt. But is there any updates on those two guys?
Yeah, so Rafi missed all fall. He had an ankle injury over the summer that required some hardware to be put in his ankle, and it kind of flared up. He got hit by a pitch at UCF, and it kind of flared up on him. So we have to kind of take it slow with him. He's good to hit. You just got to be careful with how much he's doing. So we're just trying to monitor that for him right now. And then, unfortunately, when Bozer took that swing the other day, he's got a wrist injury that's going to keep him out for a quite significant amount of time.
Oh man, you really don't want to hear that, but hopefully they get to a speedy recovery. And but with that being said, we noticed that we got Snow in playing second base. Is that something that we'll probably have to go with as the season progresses?
Well, no, Snow will be back at shortstop now. The only reason Snow is at second base is he woke up when we were in Jacksonville at North Florida in Jacksonville with kind of a sore shoulder. So we moved him to second because the shorter throw didn't bother him as much. But now with Bobby being out for a significant amount of time, Snow's gonna slide right back over to where we're used to seeing him.
Awesome. Cool. And then aside from that, I'm really curious about the pitching staff. I know you kind of talked about, some inconsistencies with, pitching that we've seen so far. And with what we've seen the past 2 weekends, we had one really good starting pitching weekend and then one where we struggled. Is there any plans in the works for this upcoming weekend series to make any changes, or do you continue to go with those guys that have been going the past couple weeks?
No, we're gonna roll Hunter Mink back out there on Friday and Seabird on Saturday, but jobs are rented. They're not owned, so you got to go out and perform and to keep your job in the rotation. And those guys know that they're competitors. They need to get back to being who they are and pitching like they know they're capable of. Got a good Greensboro team coming in, so it'll be a good challenge for those guys to get their minds right before we head into conference play the following week.
And with that being said, what do you think are the factors that really affect the pitching staff from week in and week out? Obviously, the level of competition is one thing, but ultimately it seems like they kind of follow each other. If one guy has a good start, the other guys follow, and it kind of sets a tone. Is that something that you see?
Uh, I mean, somewhat. I mean, your starter sets the tone. Especially your Friday night starter sets the tone for the whole weekend. But your starter sets the tone for that game that day. And I think all three games this weekend we gave up runs in the first inning. That's not setting the tone. You got to be at your best and ready to go from Jump Street on pitch number one. And I didn't think we did a very good job with that. I respect North Carolina A&T. I'm not sure how much our guys did coming into that. That's a good team. That's a good offensive team. Their coach does a great job with them, and you got to prepare every day. Like I use the analogies when you become a big leaguer. You can't just prepare for the Yankees. When you got to play the Royals, you got to prepare them all the same way.
That makes total sense. And with our pitchers not going to, or rather our starters not going too deep into the game this past weekend, we did get to see a lot of guys coming out of the bullpen. Have you come to, uh, you know, 2 to 3 guys in the bullpen where you feel comfortable putting them into close game situations where the game's on the line, or is that something that's still yet to be figured out?
No, I mean, we're starting to get more comfortable. I think Kyle Scrape and Joey Vellini out of the bullpen have been really good for us. They've both come out of the pen and thrown the ball extremely well. Dorsey's been really good. He had a little rough one this past weekend, but up until that point, he'd been really good for us. Bryce Archie, this is has been pitching for a month and a half since not playing baseball for 2 years. And once he just continues to get the reps, it's a guy that I trust because he throws strikes and he's got good stuff. But there's other guys we're waiting to see. We're waiting to see them take the next step. We're waiting to see that when the ball's in their hand that You feel comfortable. I use the word trust with him all the time. You got to make me trust you. I'm not just going to trust you. You got to earn that trust. So guys are getting opportunities, especially when we played as many games as we did last week. Uh, it's like the stock market. Make me buy your stock. Your stock goes up, I want to buy. I don't like guys who, stock's high one day, low the next day. I want guys that kind of just ride the wave gently.
No, definitely. That makes a lot of sense. And with that being said, is there anybody in particular from fall to the current season, or rather spring to the current season, that has surprised you in terms of, what they're being able to bring to the table on the mound?
Yeah, that guy for me is Kyle Scrape. He doesn't have much of a background. He was just kind of here, but he worked his tail off. He's up to 94 from the left side with a good breaking ball now. When he got here, he was probably 87, 88. Now his changeup's just as hard as what he was throwing and he's locating everything. It's down in the zone. It's 3 pitches for strikes. He's made the biggest jump. There's other guys I keep waiting. It's in there. It's getting over the white line fever of the game. But there's other guys that are going to pop here hopefully soon.
No, that makes total sense. And with Kyle Scrape, I was joking around with the rest of the Bruin crew that, if he had his jersey up for sale on Athletic Threads, I would have bought it when he did so well against UCF the last weekend. But hopefully we'll get there soon. Cool. And then aside from that, the last thing I want to ask you about is the decision factors that go into stealing bases, and especially third base, giving its differences from, stealing second base. What are some indicators, at least for you? Is it more of a analytical side of things? Is it more of a gut feeling? What kind of goes into that?
I mean, when we get on base, we're looking to steal every single time. We do all of our homework, all of our video, all of our prep work. We made it a huge point of emphasis in the fall that we need to take bags, because you can take bags. You've seen us. I mean, I think we got 30, 31. I think we had 39 all of last year. It's college baseball. Make people handle the ball, apply pressure. So we spend a lot of time on it. Coach Cates does an unbelievable job with it. He's in charge of it out there. You can listen to him. If we get the jump, we go. It's college baseball. You never know. Stealing third and pass ball, and now you got to run in. You see it all the time. So it's not just a gut or anything like that. It's something we work on daily, every day type of thing. And we're going to be aggressive. We're going to do our homework, and if we got a guy we can steal on, we're going.
That makes total sense. And I think it kind of speaks for itself with, like you said, 30, 31 stolen bases when all of last season we had 39. It's definitely adding a lot of dynamic to what we're doing on offense. Cool. So the next thing, I'll kick it up back off to Mark, and I think he has a couple of questions also.
Cool. Yeah, one thing I just wanted to talk to you about is just the strong season that we're seeing from Drew Britcher. His senior season, he's leading the nation in walks. He's always been a patient batter, so I'm not completely surprised by that. But what can you say about how he's done so far, and also about the decision to put him in the leadoff spot, and how you think that's working for you?
I mean, yeah, Brutch is a senior. He's been through everything before. He knew coming into the year what the knock on him was that he struck out too much. So he made a concerted effort to change his approach with 2 strikes, and it's led to more walks. It's a simpler approach with 2 strikes, but in terms of putting him in the leadoff spot, I always believe in putting your best hitters at the top and trying to get them as many bats as they can, because when that thing flips over and he's at the front, that's not somebody you want to face. So right now, like, he's doing a great job. He's getting on base. Mayo's doing an incredible job. Betancourt's right behind him, and then you got Montez. So, he's level at all times. So he's perfect for that leadoff spot to kind of set the tone for the beginning of the game.
Definitely. And you mentioned Jackson Mayo, somebody that at the Bruin Crew, we've always thought is a extremely big talent, as a freshman, almost hitting 10 home runs. Last year was a little bit of a down year for him, and this year he's really coming into great form. What can you say about, like, the leap he's taken from last year?
I'm super proud of that kid. He definitely struggled last year, definitely had some tough times last year. He works hard. His attitude's better. Comes to the park ready to play every day. I think having some success has boosted that confidence of his. He's a really good player, and it's good to finally see that success coming out and him playing free, and the numbers speak for themselves right now.
Definitely, definitely. Awesome. And also, I just wanted to ask you about the third base position. We've seen a few different names there, and it seems like you have a few guys that you feel like can play that position. Can you talk about some of the guys that you've put there and how you think that they've done?
Yeah, I mean, Matty Rose has been okay over there. He has, we put him in third in the fall quite a bit. We're just waiting for his bat to come around, to be aggressive and to take his walks and stuff like that. Joaquin's played some over there. He was an infielder in high school as well. He's done it before. He's got really good hands. He's got a really strong arm. He's got a little feel for the game. And then this weekend we put Stuart Puckett over there. And Puckett, you know, had a few big knocks for us and played a decent third base. To be honest, we're still trying to figure out that position. Nobody's really just taken it. The other positions guys have taken. That's the one position where it's kind of a revolving door right now. And we're just looking for now with Bozer out, we really need somebody to step up and take that.
Yeah, Puckett is a really interesting one. I mean, I actually forgot that he was a redshirt freshman and not necessarily a true freshman. And he's been with you in the program now for over a year or two. Um, can you I think that's a good, maybe for you as a coach, you like to see a guy who came in redshirted and actually, work their way up. What can you say about like him and like the attitude he was able to take last year to take that red shirt and come this year prepared to play?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think last year he knew he was behind some guys. We had that conversation that, I don't want to waste a red shirt on 10 at bats, and that's what he did not want to do. So we redshirted him. Um, but then, this year he's just had to wait and wait and wait. And if you remember a year ago, a guy named Rafael Betancourt waited and waited and waited and got his opportunity, and he hasn't sat since. So patience rewards you in this game. If you can stay patient and keep working, it rewards you down the road. Hopefully that's the case for Puckett. It was good to see him get in there. I think he was 4 for 8 on the weekend. Defensively, he still needs to clean some stuff up, but I've always thought he can hit. We need to clean the defense up a little bit.
Okay, nice. And then also you kind of mentioned some of these pitchers, but I noticed a couple of new names that we really have just only seen in the past week. Nick Pineda especially has looked really good to me. Corey Kling pitched 2/3 of an inning the other day. He's a true freshman. And he also got Lawson Gailey back from injury, which I think will be really helpful. Can you talk a little bit about those guys?
Yeah, Pineda was like Scrape. Scrape didn't pitch until the UCF weekend. We're trying to give the older guys the benefit of the doubt that have been here through the fires, and then it was time for the new guys to get their chance. And Nick went in against North Florida and threw strikes with 2 different pitches and had success. And he got another opportunity to do it again this weekend. So he's been good so far. Time will tell. He's got to learn how to get the ball down in the zone, being a sinker ball type guy. I think that will catch up to him, but so far so good. Bryce I already touched on, hadn't pitched in 2 years. We've been going at it for a month and a half, and he's super competitive. He makes things look easy. He's athletic. We just got to fine tune everything with him. Kling's a freshman who we were expecting big things from. His shoulder's been bothering him a little bit, so that's why he hasn't really gotten many outings. But once he's back and ready to go, he's a guy that will come in with 3 pitches for strikes. And then getting Gailey back from his little oblique deal. That's the one bright spot from Sunday's game. Not that there were many, but the Gailey went in there and showed you that when you pitch, you have success, and he did a really good job of locating and keeping things down.
Yeah, definitely. I was really impressed with how Lawson looked. He looked like how we saw him last year, very effective with his changeup. Really, really good to see. And then also, are there any other pitchers or even batters that you think might we see like shed a red shirt or maybe other debuts that might come down the pipeline?
Offensively, probably not. No, not off the top of my head. I never say never, but not in the plans right now.
Okay.
Pitching wise, we got some guys that just aren't ready yet. Like Austin Waring, I think he's going to be a really good pitcher for us, but he's a freshman. He, missed his senior year of high school with a little arm problem, and it's taken him a while to get back. But I think you guys have seen pretty much everybody. We need to get Jula going again. He's been battling a little bit of a shoulder deal. So we're still not at full strength yet. We're waiting for that. It's been kind of a rough stretch of 10 days with injuries and stuff. But better now than come April and May.
Is Mason Manriquez still coming?
Yeah, he's still here. I'm looking for a spot to get him in. He got really sick. I'm not sure, it's some bacterial type deal. Lost 20 pounds, so we're trying to get his weight back up and get him going. So I'm trying to find a spot this week to get him in.
Awesome, yeah, that'd be good. And a couple other names. Do you think that we may see if you have the opportunity a little more? Riley Skiing, Austin Grouse, how are they doing? Is it?
Well, skiing through in Jacksonville. He threw at Jacksonville and got the win.
That's right. Yeah.
Grouse hasn't thrown since Marist, I believe. Still a work in progress. Like you gotta do your job. And he knows that. He's working on it. We just got to get him back in the zone and missing barrels.
Awesome. Yeah. Sounds like he's somebody who's proven that he can do that at times. So look forward to seeing his progression. Matt, before I close it out, did you have any follow-up questions or anything that came up that you thought you wanted to ask about?
I did, and then I completely forgot about it as I was listening to you guys talk. No, but I think it's been a really good conversation, and we'll definitely look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Thank you, Coach. We really appreciate it, and
Yep.
we look forward to watching you guys this week.
Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.